Whoa. you, you moved. It was like a whole different. Anyways, welcome back, everybody, to We Are Aquarius. I am Frank. This is Brad. How you doing today? How's everybody doing out there? Let us know in the comment
That.
chat. What?
You're like, I'm Frank, and then you pointed, and
Yeah, I
it's like,
put in my
well, I mean,
name
now I
tag
guess
here.
I guess now I'm pointing at you, right?
Yeah.
Even though we're opposite on the screen. I wish I could
Oh,
switch.
you see her. Okay, we're different here.
Oh, I can flip that. Well, there you go. Well, no problem for me.
Yeah, you just pushed me over to that side. There we go.
Or,
Uh, so, so we're gonna make kind of a probably a few shorter episodes here to see how that goes. Um, but today we were talking about all kinds of stuff today. Before we got to this, it's been like how many hours?
yeah, it's tough though, because this is like a tough. It's like a tough topic to really think about in a sense. It's not, something that you really have too much things to look at and stuff. I don't even, what would you describe the topic as that we were just kind of talking about?
Well, you were talking about like Disney and stuff and how they kind of got kids from a really young age and all that, and just made me make sense of it. And it does kind of make sense the fact that they, because this is what a lot of tyrants and stuff do, is they rule through fear. They make you afraid of this. They make you afraid of that. You might be like, well, Trump did this same thing. Okay, maybe he did. I didn't see it. I know Biden's doing it with the whole pandemic thing, and as are a lot of other nations and all that. And this is what they do: rule through fear. But with the Disney stuff, they give you a story, and for kids growing up, they're awesome stories, but there's this fear in there, like you could lose, but you become embroidered to the idea of being that hero. And so, therefore, as you grow up, as Disney's grown up too, and like what you're saying about Disney previously, is that you have to be the hero of their story. And you also said other things too, but it just kind of makes sense, like
This.
the embellishment of.
I was just making the comparison of it's funny how Walt Disney just bought like books that were like scary stories back in the day, and then he just changed them slightly, turned them into like children's stories, and then that grew into like a huge evil corporation. It's like the butterfly effect. All he did was do one little thing, and then it's
Mhm.
like somehow it chained itself out to like greedy people just wanting to own as much as they possibly can,
Mhm.
and it's just like a money grab style place anymore. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah,
weird
it's
to
it
me.
it's
That's what I'm
interesting.
saying. It's stuff like that that makes me feel like the devil's really around. Like if we take a look at how we see everything in life, how
But
how
like
we're
you were saying previously, you were like you think the devil's kind of winning and all that.
well,
I
he
think
can't
that
win in all honesty.
I think the thing is I think he thinks he's winning from
Right, and that's
what
it's
things are going on. But I can feel, I don't know, I have this feeling
but he's preparing the
that
turf.
it's
He's preparing the battle, and that's what
I
he's supposed to do. That's what he thinks he's supposed to do anyway.
I think there's going to be just one gigantic major loss we're going to see in the future from the bad side, and it's just going to
He
fall very very hard.
I think that that's the whole thing is that he knows that the sins of man outweigh, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's so much easier to fall into the sins and it chain reacts itself. And like when you know what I mean? Like with the way that we're all we're programmed, we're mob mentality in a sense. We kind of do what other people are doing around us. What did I say? How did I put it? Look, it's easier for us to quickly think of an insult to somebody. Like that's like what's pops in your head, like a quick insult versus like a quick solution or a positive comment. Just it's a program that I mean, we don't
Mm-hmm.
necessarily say it, but I think a lot of people are getting programmed to like think that that's what you should do. Can you think of something funny that's kind of like an insult on something, or you know what I mean, or like so you can reach out later of like this situation, and then you thought about this. And I mean, even like you see them all over on like YouTube comments, who can come up with the funniest, like wittiest concept to it.
I've noticed that even with Twitter, if like let's say some leftist post something on Twitter saying this is wrong or that is wrong, then all the people on the right are underneath them mocking them. If
Right.
somebody on the right posts something, it's all people on the left trying to mock them. It's like we're just trying to find a way to rib each other when the fact is people are I think the fact is we're finally coming to an idea of what it means to be an Aquarius, what it means to be a part of this age is that we're starting to all be able to communicate with each other. Whereas back in the day, we never had the internet, we never had that kind of
Right.
communication. Every
And we didn't
American
have the
every
time.
American thought that every Russian wanted to fight and hunt them and kill them and stuff, and every Russian thought every American wanted blah blah blah. Same for Chinese to Russia and American stuff back and forth. Everybody was led to this idea that everybody was out to get them from other countries. Now, yes, we have to try to
But not
build
just other
our own
countries,
community, but it
other
was like,
random
yeah,
people even.
yeah,
But that's
but it
what I'm
was
saying.
like
We didn't even have time.
everybody was out to get you. But now with the internet, we can clearly see, yeah, there's some crazies out there. There's some people that do bad things, but the majority of the world isn't like that. Like once you are able to communicate with someone from Japan or somebody from Mexico or somebody from name a country, name a place, and you get to understand them, you'll see that their stories aren't that much different than yours. And
Normal people in society, but that's what I'm saying. Everybody has these, people who've gone through tough situations and they've developed hardened views on things, so much so that they either don't value other people's lives or they don't value. I mean, that's pretty much it. You just don't value other people's lives. What more else is there? You just don't care about other people's lives to a level that you're willing to destroy other people's lives through different ways.
and I think it makes sense
You
that
know,
we have to try to. The only really good way to combat that, and the one way that makes sense, even from a Jesus perspective, from understanding like a Christian podcast like this, is that pain begets pain, and hurt begets hurt, love begets love. The only way to change things is to try to find a way to make them better. And I was watching the Dexter series,
right?
and even telling you about the Dexter series. Remember the episode with the brother guy who was the repair guy of the shop? He was trying to like bring people from the prison system back into like a normal society instead of like going back to doing drugs and all that. And he eventually gets shot, and he slowly dies off. And he tells Dexter, he's like, don't hurt this guy. Tell him that I forgive him. And Dexter just couldn't understand that because he didn't come from that perspective. He came from a perspective of pain growing up, of blood, being born in blood. That was his thing.
I always like the third rock from the Sun guy.
He was a Trinity killer. Yeah.
Yeah, the Trinity Killer. He was.
But it comes down to that. It's like if unless you break the cycle somewhere, it continues. It'll just keep continuing. And people that are abused end up typically going into the abusive thing too because the pain begets pain. It's the same thing begets the same thing. We have to find a way to
And
cut
that's
it
what
at
I'm
some
saying. Like
point.
our government doesn't really like. I mean, I get it. You don't want your government like getting involved in all of it, but at the same time, like we as a society don't really like understand like the whole importance of who humans are. Like we come from a past, and it seems to me like we're very obsessed with our past. We've created ancestry.com. I mean, a lot of black people continually hate on white people because of slavery. You know what I mean?
And then there's a lot of
We're obsessed with past. China wants Taiwan. You know what I mean? Like it's constant. We're really, really not focused on future. We're really, really focused on the past. And I
well,
think
it's
that's the thing. Like,
because a lot of the past built us up to what we are now. That's why we have
right,
landmarks and we have things like this, and we're like, please don't tear that down, because it's a historical monument, you know. And other people are like, well, this stood for this and that thing, and we didn't really read all of history and research everything, but somebody told us this, so let's tear this statue down. Uh, this is what happened in Hitler's time. He burned the books. He destroyed all the information. You didn't know what happened in the past. So then you're going to go ahead and repeat it because that's the whole thing. Like we had this conversation before, like if you could time travel and kill Hitler, would you? Well, if you time travel and kill Hitler, there will be a new Hitler somewhere. Somebody will take over for that spot because somebody will say like, well, this hasn't been tried before, and then you get a new Hitler. It just won't be the same
I'm
name.
saying things like New York and California, where they have so many people and it's still being run by the same amount of people as other areas. That's dense. That's just dense thinking. I don't know what you guys were thinking. You should have had like, oh, we have super hubs. We're gonna have to make like a whole nother system on how this is gonna have to be handled in these super hubs. Almost like they have to like wait, you know what I mean? You could have used intellect and came up with a real government, independent solution that maybe an entire congregation would be like, this agree, this looks fair for everybody, instead of ways that you can get more Supreme Court members and elect to immediately. If we add four, I'm going to have to elect them. And well, I guess I'll have to elect to be. What are you, clueless? I mean, like, that's just so ignorant thinking. Like, the only way you could do it fairly would be like, we want to add like two, and we're going to go ahead and do it in
Well,
like 4 years.
the problem with these big cities like California, New York, and the reason why they always do Democrat isn't because they like the Democrat system, is because they're just used to that. They've been used to that for such a long time. They can't see going any other way. They think that going any other way is just going to break their system, but their system's already falling apart on certain areas. Like San Francisco's got pretty much like free crime up to $1,000 worth. I mean, who else does that? That people poop in the streets. I mean, you don't have that here in my state or you're in your state, Brad. I mean,
We
just like
don't,
if
we don't want that. I
and
mean,
we
that's what
don't
I'm
know.
saying.
Yeah, we definitely don't want any of that.
I don't, I look, I don't want to steal things. If I can't afford something, I'm just gonna not get it.
Oh, I thought you said I don't want to feel things. I was
I
gonna
don't want
say
to steal things, man.
I almost.
Hard.
I hope if people are watching this, they didn't. He was trying to say I don't want to steal things. It's not like I don't want to feel things. Sorry. Go ahead.
I just like a,
Pattern interrupt there. I didn't mean to.
I like a nice society of good people. You know what I mean? We should all strive to be better. If we
Absolutely,
all,
yeah.
if we all, and that's what I mean. The only way to do that, though, is by being so good yourself that it's
Yeah.
contagious.
You give love, it continues on down the line. It's like the pass along thing. But pass along works for negativity as well. You can pass along shit, or you can pass along a loving care package or a product or something. Um, did you go mute, or are you just muting yourself?
You
Oh, well, I can hear you now.
couldn't hear me before. I don't know. Maybe my mouse battery is very low.
Yeah, you muted for a
51
second here.
minutes. 51 minutes ago, that's even worse.
51 minutes ago.
I'll have to charge that.
Yeah, we're at 13 minutes here. Um, but what do you think though? If you just want to do like a 15-minute thing here, what do you think going forward? One little key thing would be, or are you there? You kind of froze on me here, buddy.
Lost you.
Okay, I can see you now, but I can't hear you. What'd you say?
I lost you.
Well, there you're back. All right. So, what do you want to say to wrap this up here, real quick?
I like that painting you have in the background. I never noticed it before. It's
Oh, you do?
nice.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, just I mean, I just repeated what I always say: be the light, Be the light, you know, shine bright,
Hmm.
shine as bright as you can shine. Make, I mean, like, make yourself happy by being happy. It's
Hmm.
all perception. People look, I mean, all the time, people will always say like negative things. And they look at me like I'm crazy because I'm happy.
I
Why?
know.
Why wouldn't I be happy? I mean, like, what is it you want?
To be
What is it you
happy.
need? What is it you need? I want to be happy. I know I'm happy.
Hmm. Yeah, that's why they say sometimes some poor
Don't
people are
worry.
the happiest with people are happier with less things.
Doesn't doesn't
You know.
doesn't Jesus say don't worry, be happy?
Um,
Luke, Luke like 12,
I don't think he
25 or
said that
something like that.
specifically, but he says don't worry about the physicality. So mostly that's what he talks about. He talks
He
about
said,
spirituality a lot.
who of you by worrying can add a single hour to your life?
Yes, added a single hour to your life. Yeah, you can't. So worrying about the extra time that you have, like I don't have time for this. I got to go home and watch my show. It's like you can't add an extra
Priorities.
minute to your life. You could live this long. You could live that long. You don't know what you know. I guess what you're saying is enjoy every second. If we're gonna close this out here, uh, I'd have to say that that makes sense. You know, but yeah, to live a good life is to focus on the present and box cutters. So I guess we'll end it there. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you in the next episode. Take care.